to the ultimate Cleveland sports show. Mike McNuggets, G. Bush, Jason Lloyd in the house. We got Earl the Pearl and Anthony behind the glass. Guys, the Cavs are playoff bound. We know that. They are essentially locked into the 4 seed. We're not sure who the 5 seed will be, but the Cavs have essentially locked themselves into the 4 seed, which may be their preferred spot considering Detroit has all but locked up the number 1 seed. Let's play a little game of what's more likely, though, guys. And Jason, I'll start with you on this one. What's a more likely playoff outcome for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season? Reaching the NBA Finals, not winning, but just reaching the NBA Finals, or losing in the first round in that 4-5 matchup, Jason?
Well, can we get their opponent first?
Nope.
That makes it a lot
that's
easier.
Crazy.
It's a crazy time to throw a dart when you don't even know who they're going to play in the first round. Listen, there's no need to choose violence now and you don't even know who the opponent's going to be, so I'll say make the finals because I don't think they're going to lose in the first round. I do think that there's some teams that will give them a harder time than others, but I don't see them losing a first-round series. I don't know how likely it is that they'll get past Boston. If it's Boston in the conference finals, I would probably take the Celtics to win that. But I can't sit here and say that they're going to lose in the first round. When you look at Orlando, I like Atlanta, but I don't like them enough to – I don't think they're ready yet to beat the Cavs. Orlando, Toronto, I think Philly's in there. Orlando, Toronto, Philly. Atlanta. I don't see how the Cavs would lose to any of those teams in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not doing that. That's disrespectful to Donovan Mitchell. Like I feel like you got 2 dudes on your team that have done it before. You got 2 dudes on your squad who will probably be Hall of Famers. And no, we're not losing the first round to the Hawks or, I mean, even now. Listen, now if the Sixers get healthy, there might be a series. They might push you to 6 or 7, but. I can't, with a clear conscience, have the Cavs moving around and getting to a point where you're going to say, I think that they're going to have a first-round exit over the finals. They just have too much talent. And I think you can grit out a first-round win. I think you can, even if a team pushes you, I just think the Cavs have too much talent to go out in the first round, and I think they'll be more focused and locked in. And Donovan won't let them lose in the first round.
I'm speechless.
You going the other way?
No. But I was fully prepared to go to war with you two because I assumed you both were going to go the other way.
Really?
Why would you say that?
Gee, every time the Cavs lose, you have an aneurysm. Like it's the end of the world. Jason,
I'll be wilding out. That's because I'm the Duke and knee jerk. I told you I'm going to be upset. I'll be all right in 24 hours.
Oh, what do you think on this one? More likely first-round exit or reaching the NBA Finals?
I think it's more likely the Cleveland Cavaliers reach the NBA Finals, and I think, respectively, as a fan base, we need to put some respect on their name. This is still a regular season. We all believe that since the trades were made closer to the trade deadline that brought in Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, and James Harden, this team is better, more physical, mentally tougher, and have more championship experience and playoff experience. Championship experience being Dennis Schroeder. So for me, I look at it as, okay, I get it, the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride, the injuries and everything like that. But the truth of the matter is, man, the Cleveland Cavaliers have been a second-round exit for, the last 2 seasons. And they are well aware of that. And they believe and they know that they have to get past at least that mark. When you look at the Eastern Conference this year, I think the Cavaliers are just as good as the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and the Detroit Pistons. Everything that we want to accomplish is still right there in front of us. So whatever recent stretch and however it looked, it hasn't shook my confidence personally. So I still think it's more likely that we make it to the NBA Finals versus getting knocked out round 1.
As is the case with
it's a clean sweep, by the way.
But as is the case with most of these, extreme polar opposites, I don't think either one of them's true. But if you're going to make me pick, yeah, I'm going to take making the final. I think they have better odds of beating Boston than they do losing to Toronto or losing to Atlanta.
I was going to get up here on my – so I genuinely thought – I was talking to my dad and my brother yesterday.
Yeah.
Should I make it reach the conference finals? Should I make it reach the finals? And they're like, no, to get it fair, and I'm honestly shocked because I was ready to go to war with y'all. I have notes on notes on notes and stats on stats on stats.
Got you.
Ready to go to war
ahead.
Over how they're not going to lose to Atlanta if that's the 4-5 matchup, despite the fact that Atlanta has a bunch of wings. They have literally no playoff experience on that entire roster, and you're going to trust guys like Jalen Johnson, who's been incredible this season. And I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Johnson.
Because we know you love their wings. You love their wings. It's
Magic City has great wings.
There you
Atlanta
go.
has great wings. We can all agree Atlanta has some terrific wings down there. But Kuminga's never done it in a playoff series where he's needed to be counted on. All those guys are just unproven commodities. The Toronto Raptors, they're the bully who beats up the 4th grader when they're in 7th grade, and then the 9th grader shows up and they run back to their mom crying. They've beaten nobody good this year. If you look at their win-loss differentiation between sub-500 teams and plus 500 teams, you would think they were the 96 Bulls against minus 500 teams, and they were the tanking 76ers trying to get Ben Simmons against positive 500 teams. I know they swept the Cavs earlier this season. That was pre-James Harden. That was a pre-different Cavaliers team. There's no chance in the world this team loses in the first round. You don't make the James Harden deal. You don't make the deals to acquire Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. You don't have the most expensive roster in the NBA. You don't have the impending Donovan Mitchell situation looming over your shoulder to lose in the first round. That would be a nuclear reaction level change to this organization if they don't make it past the first round, Jason. We're talking changes everywhere.
Yeah.
Roster, staff, possibly front office. They might change the name. They might have to change their name to the Cleveland Rockers or something like that and steal from the WNBA team if they don't make it out of the first round. Not making it past that first round would be an absolute catastrophe to the highest level, and anything else would be more likely in my mind.
Yep.
It's that impossible for them to lose in the first round, and I probably just jinxed them. And
I would say it's impossible.
I would.
Nothing's impossible in the NBA, especially a 4-5 matchup. But I'll go back to what I said before. The odds of them beating Boston to me are greater than the odds of losing to any of those teams. And I'm just sort of, I mean, who knows? New York could
be the
easily
Knicks.
beat Boston. Yeah.
Man, you
And
can't.
I'd answer it the same
And
way.
real quick, if it stays as it is, the Charlotte Hornets could end up as a 6th seed, and they've been the hottest team in the Eastern Conference for about 2.5 months now.
Yeah.
Man,
That's no
look.
cakewalk. I wouldn't pick them over the Celtics. That's no cakewalk by any means.
Hey, if you, bro, we here. Like, we got to start having these expectation levels. Man, we be killing the Browns all the time. We kill the Browns for everything. Let me find out that you got Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Mobley and you lose a first-round game. It's unacceptable. It should not happen. It will not happen. And if your best player is on a team, I always say this, SGA is never letting the Thunder lose in the first round. Ever.
Not at this point.
Tatum's not letting them lose in the first round. He don't care if he got to get 70. If Donovan Mitchell got to get 97 points a game, that's what's just going to have to happen. But we ain't losing in no first round. That's what a superstar does. You can't allow it, bro. So the expectation levels for these two dudes, I'm looking at y'all. Donovan, James Beard. No, don't warm that up. Don't let McNuggets hype you up. You bet not lose that first round.
You said something very important. Championship expectations. We talk about the Browns at length. Are they tanking? Can they be a playoff team next year? Some of us, and rightfully so, just want to see a competent season, right? A competent season would be a win for the Browns if they just look average on offense, they're good on defense, they win 8-9 games. Maybe they make the playoffs, maybe they don't. That's a win for the team, right? The Cavaliers just pushed all their chips on the table. Yeah. All of them. They said, we're in. We're pot committed to this core, to this roster, to this version of the team, based on the Harden contract, the Mitchell contract, the Mobley contract, the Allen contract, and all the other things that make the most expensive roster in the NBA.
Let me see if I can set Jason up. Let me see if I can set you up.
Can you imagine not having championship expectations with the most expensive roster in the league?
No. And let's extrapolate this out a little bit further. If they do lose in the first round,
nuclear reaction.
Is that more likely or less likely that you see, I ain't talking about LeBron, I'm talking about Giannis. Is it less likely or more likely you see him? Because I'm going to tell you what, they lose in that first round, I'm going to just let you know. It's going to be some conversations to be had.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole summer is going to be about what does Donovan want?
Yeah.
Who does Donovan want to play with? What does he want? And that's I'm not trying to skirt it, but that's the answer. Because they want Donovan to sign an extension this summer. Mm. So whoever he wants to play with, that's what's going to happen. If he says bring me Giannis, they'll do everything in their power to bring him Giannis. But they got to get him to agree first. They got to get him to sign first. And then the rest of the roster takes care of itself.
It's one domino that can fall into many dominoes. And Donovan is the first and the biggest domino. Earl, you got a question?
So looking forward to tonight's game, coming off that disappointing quote-unquote schedule loss against Miami. There's a possibility that Jarrett Allen returns to the lineup. If he plays, what are you expecting from Jarrett tonight and the Cavs overall against Miami.
A much better defensive effort. You know, we talked about it yesterday on the show that they tried to overhelp so much and take the offensive focus of Miami away from Bam Adebayo that they let other guys on the perimeter kill him. And give Miami credit, those guys made shots in a way the Cavs didn't. Even though Miami deployed a similar defensive strategy, they collapsed on Mobley. Mobley kicked, and the Cavs shooters just weren't making shots. If Allen's back, you don't have to overhelp as much because you have more rim protection. You don't have to send guys from the perimeter down to try and dig out on Bam Adebayo because you have a secondary big man who you feel pretty comfortable guarding him in one-on-one. And offensively, we were seeing the best Jared Allen we've ever seen offensively. I hope his chemistry with James Harden in the pick and roll just picks up right where it left off, Earl. I have no reason to believe it wouldn't. So if he comes back, he'll probably be on a minutes restriction. I would guess he plays 20-ish minutes. In those 20 minutes, it gives the Cavs the two bigs that they can split up and play all one on the court at the same time with an all-star guard, the other, Mobley and Mitchell, on the court when they're not together sharing the pair with Harden and Allen. So he's been awesome for them. He makes them significantly better, and I hope he gets back soon because he needs a little bit of a runway before the NBA playoffs kick off.
They are the Cavs to me. The only thing I will say that's negative in this, they annoy the heck out of me on defense. They just annoy me. I'm like, listen, I know Bam just had 83, but you come on, bro. You stop all this helping, bro. If he want to hit you with these twos, McNuggets, okay. But the help was just extremely over the top.
So here's the issue with the Cavs defense right now. They rank third in the NBA at protecting the paint. Third. Teams shoot the third lowest field goal percentage at the rim against the Cavs as any team in the league. That's awesome, right? You don't want teams getting easy looks. The issue is teams only take the 12th most shots at the rim.
They're pulling up on y'all.
They're pulling up and they're kicking out. The Cavs are both bottom 10. So they're top 3 in protecting the rim. They're bottom 10 in three-point attempts against and three-point efficiency against. Why does that happen? Because they're so dedicated to stopping teams from getting layups. They're overhelping and they're allowing the kickouts. And teams this year have just made a ton of threes against them. Kenny always uses the word, Jason, they shot over expected.
Yeah.
At some point, we're 72 games,
Right.
73 games into the season. It's not a small sample size. That just may be the expected. And they have 9 games to figure out how to kind of correct that over-expected issue before the playoffs start.
I just want to see Jared in the playoffs have an impact on this team because we haven't always seen that in the past. So as great as he's been in the regular season at times, we need to see it in the postseason.
Well said.